Joining me now is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, the Biden administration has created real chaos. Yet, of course, it was Trump that they claimed was the master of all government chaos of all time.
Yeah, Laura, that's a pretty good catalog you just went through there. Biden has surrounded himself with a team of incompetence, but they're also ideological and arrogant as well, which is a toxic combination for the American people. I think it's important to remember that what the American people are seeing right now is not like an unintended consequence or an accident. It's the specific design of Joe Biden and the far left's policies. They want you to pay $4 or $5 a gallon for gas because they want you out of your pickup truck or your SUV. They want you to ride in a small compact electric vehicle or a bicycle or a scooter or whatever it is that Pete Buttigieg takes to work this week. They want the border to be open. They think borders are racist and xenophobic and nativist. They want this country flooded with illegal migrants to help drive down the cost of working class wages and reward their business supporters with more cheap labor. None of these things are unintended consequences or accidents. They are the intended results of incompetent ideologues in this White House.
Well, this isn't selling very well among the American people, Senator. This new Washington Post ABC News poll shows Biden's approval has hit another new low of 41%. 45% of independents strongly disapprove of his performance. Among suburbanites, it's 48%. That is a devastating fact. That's not even the worst, though. The poll also found that if elections were held today, the GOP would have a whopping 10-point advantage in that generic ballot among registered voters. Senator, if these numbers hold up, and that's obviously a big if, this is a wipeout that we haven't seen, I don't know, 40 years in politics, in midterm?
Yeah. And Laura, you didn't even get to Kamala Harris's approval ratings, which are even lower than Joe Biden's or the Democratic parties. Yeah, the American people in places like Virginia and New Jersey and Long Island and Minneapolis and Seattle sent a very clear message 2 weeks ago. Stop. Stop the madness. Stop the reckless spending. Stop the open borders. Stop coddling criminals. Stop with all the inflation. The Democratic Party clearly didn't get that message. So if they go on headlong, rushing towards this $4 trillion spending bill, if they don't close the border, if prices continue to rise, if Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin and the Ayatollahs continue to see Joe Biden wearing a kick me sign, then it's going to be a massive repudiation for the Democrats next November.
Well, Senator, tonight was the big virtual meeting between Biden and Xi, and Biden didn't mention COVID once. Forget that whole origins thing. Nothing solved there. But there was something that Xi said that had us going back into the vault.
Let's get something straight. We know each other well. We're not old friends.
He still does not consider him an old friend, so that remains consistent.
Although it's not as good as a face-to-face meeting, I'm very happy to see my old friend.
Well, are they friends or not? I mean, this isn't the dating game here, but something strange is happening. Senator.
Well, the president knows that China and the Chinese Communist Party are massively unpopular in the United States, not just for unleashing this plague on the world, but for decades of stealing our jobs and our factories, stealing our intellectual property, riddling our companies and our universities with their own spies. So he doesn't want to be associated with Xi Jinping. But let's remember what he said in the campaign. He said that China was not a competitor of ours. And he said, going back to the Obama administration, his time in Congress, that it would make America safer and more prosperous if we welcomed China into the civilized world, if we gave them permanent most favored nation status, if we welcomed them into the World Trade Organization. Joe Biden wasn't just a bystander for those things. He was a champion for them. And look what it's gotten us now. Millions of lost jobs, communities hollowed out, and we've helped create one of the strongest nations in the world that is now a competitor of ours. And that's the direct result of failed policies going back 30 years that Joe Biden championed.
Now we're about to give Xi Jinping a big PR propaganda victory in the Olympics. So we're rewarding him and the COVID origins with the Olympics. That's a great thing. Thank you, Senator. Great to see you tonight, as always.